When you say that, do you mean where Jake is more of an exhibition fighter and he's doing this for, as he's done his whole young career, for likes and views?
Yeah, no. So like I've said before, he's fighting for, headlines.
I think I speak probably for the boxing fans and the boxing community that it was incredibly difficult to watch, painful at times. I've been thinking about how to sort of phrase this. Just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. They were allowed to do that contest.
Mike Tyson lost to YouTuber Jake Paul in a much publicized boxing bout. But Tyson lost because that was the plan all along. It was in the script. The fight at the AT&T Arena in Texas between Jake Paul and Iron Mike Tyson continues to get attention even after it has long ended. Part of the reason is that YouTuber Jake Paul dominated the fight from start to finish and handed Mike Tyson the first loss by decision in his long hiding career. While the outcome wasn't much of a surprise, especially when you consider the age difference between both of them. However, a new angle emerged after the fight. Information about a script was leaked a few minutes before the fight. Then, the internet was sent into a frenzy when an alleged script of the fight surfaced after it ended.
It hurt me to see that.
Same here. Every punch he got hit with, it hurt me.
Like it. He's old, man, but
he's 58.
Congratulations.
Yeah. How are you doing though? Good.
Fans and boxing enthusiasts started reacting to the alleged script almost immediately. Now, boxing experts have joined the discussion. But why is the existence of an alleged script generating much attention? Well, if the fight was scripted, it diminishes the spirit of competitive sports. It is also a bad example for the upcoming generation who may see boxing as an arrangement instead of a competition to know the best in the ring.
I turned down his offer just because we're not fighting for like the same things, really. I just have so much respect for, the Ali name and the legacy that I'm trying to build. And I don't think that we're in the same sport either. We're just not in the same league.
When you say that, do you mean where Jake is more of an exhibition fighter and he's doing this for, as he's done his whole young career, for likes and views?
Yeah, no. So like I've said before, he's fighting for, headlines, and I'm fighting for my bloodline. And there's a big difference there. It's just I'm fighting for actual legacy, and he's fighting for, the viewership and the money. And that's just not something that I'm keen to. And yeah, it's just, that's not what he's doing. It's not boxing. That fight last night left like a bad taste.
While nobody can say for sure that the fight was scripted, boxing experts and internet users have used certain clips from the fight itself to support their claims.
Just saw Mike Tyson, Jake Paul.
Listen, before the decision, I mean, 58 years old, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
respect to him.
You know what I'm saying? Respect to Jake Paul, too. Big shout to Jake Paul, man, for just going in there and displaying skills. He didn't display no YouTuber skills tonight. He displayed boxing, great ability. I take my hat off to him.
Are you proud of Mike Tyson tonight, 58 years of age?
Always proud of Mike. Mike is my hero. I love him regardless. Listen, he did great.
Some experts pointed out the number of punches Tyson gave as the reason for their submission. Well, Tyson only managed 18 punches, which is a far cry from what many expected from the boxing legend. For these experts, it was even more shocking when you watch Tyson's sparring sessions before the fight. Frankly, most of the criticism that followed the fight was about its legitimacy. It was more about how events transpired in the ring. Former professional heavyweight Nicola Adams said, "On X, let's be real, a young Mike Tyson would have absolutely annihilated Jake Paul tonight. I wanted to see Mike Tyson doing what he does, but he is 58 years old, in exceptional shape, but just not good enough to fight these young up-and-comers now." Then, it was the turn of Terrence Crawford, the retired boxer, who has held multiple world boxing titles in 4 different weight classes, said, "I love Mike Tyson, but they give him too much credit. He looked like trash. To train that long and only throw 97 punches the whole fight is crazy. I'm just glad he didn't get hurt out there." Meanwhile, former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou, who shocked the world when he knocked Tyson Fury to the floor in a fight last year, although Fury ultimately won with a split decision, said he would give Jake Paul 2 or 3 slaps. After the fight, Irish boxer Michael Conlan said he was just glad Tyson didn't get badly hurt. credited him at 58 doing the 8 rounds and making a ton of money. But he described the fight as something that should never have happened. I suppose if it makes money, it makes sense. Jake is a smart businessman, no doubt, but that was sad. His statement echoes that of others who think the fight was more of a financial exhibition than an actual fight.
Well, let's talk about what we actually saw in the ring. Just your, I guess, initial response to the 8 rounds that Jake and Mike shared.
Yeah, I mean, it was exactly, you could have written the script before, not implying anything there, but, you know, Tyson's come out. First round, actually, you know, a bit of a watch the first round, but you straight away saw the legs, you know, weren't there anymore. I thought Roy Jones Jr. on comms was fantastic. He spotted that well. He wasn't, you know, sometimes commentators, they go and try and hide certain things to make it more exciting for the viewer. He was brutal from the second round on. He said he's not moving his legs anymore. And that was it really, wasn't it? It was a statutory Tyson. Any boxer who's statutory in a ring and doesn't move is otherwise known as a punch bag. And that's the way it went. And it, you know, I said before, the first couple of rounds might be a bit interesting. I think the first round was.
Perhaps the biggest reaction to a possible scripted fight came from Kal Sajjad of BBC Sport. He wrote, "Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but the result is no surprise and will embolden those critics who felt it made a mockery of boxing." Tyson said his heart was not in the sport following a loss to Kevin McBride in 2005, so he questioned why he was fighting again after nearly 2 decades.
Of boxers that can do that. I mean, a 58-year-old man, I don't think should have been allowed to have stepped into that ring. And I mean, I'm nobody to have that opinion, but it is my personal opinion. Why was that allowed to happen? You know, watching from my bedroom here, it seems as though everybody walked out the ring in one piece, and we can be thankful for that. But whether or not that should have been allowed to happen, I'm not so sure. It was difficult to watch. Mike Tyson, we saw shots a few months ago, didn't we, of him in a wheelchair and walking with a cane. He certainly didn't have any legs underneath him during the fight. Mike Tyson could knock me out, could knock 90% of people out. Even now, if he had the legs to do it, he's still got the missiles, he just hasn't got any way of launching them. This all sounds like I'm taking away credit from Jake Paul. Jake Paul is an incredible businessman. Eye-watering viewing figures, even more eye-watering money to be made, and he has learned his craft. You know, fighters will have their opinion on that, proper fighters, not people like me.
Andy Scott told Sky Sports, "RT, it was difficult to watch," obviously referring to the drab and uneventful fight, which was devoid of any fireworks and ultimately failed to match the anticipation all the pre-match press conferences of both fighters had generated. He also condemned Tyson for even participating in such a fight, saying, "Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. It's up for debate whether that should have fallen under the umbrella of a professional boxing match. I'm not so sure it should have." Serious questions need to be asked about the safeguarding of boxers. I don't think a 58-year-old man should have been allowed to step into that ring. Why was that allowed to happen?
I've seen it. Got an internal misfits crew. Not buying that. No, he tried to, and he to be fair, he landed, you know, quite a few shots. So what was he doing with those shots? Was he just hoping that they wouldn't have the effect, or because they looked pretty full to me? And yeah, that was that bizarre last 10 seconds. I mean, given it's an eight round fight, it's 2 minutes a round. And the last 10 seconds of the fight, he's bowing to him. It's a nice sign of respect. Can be done after the bell, by the way. And if I paid $2 million for the tickets and I'm sitting ringside and I don't get the last 10 seconds of an 8-round, 2-minute fight, I am going. In fact, I'm jumping in the ring, because that is, you know, like, it's like watching a football match. It's you know, it's level pegging going into the last. I'm not saying it was level pegging, but it's the last 10 seconds. You're expecting some sort of onslaught from either. And they start bowing.
English former professional boxer Spencer Oliver left the event underwhelmed, revealing many fans did not even bother sticking around until the end. He told the media he will be glad never to see Tyson in the ring again, but insisted, "We saw a little bit of the old Mike Tyson, and then it all went down the hill from there. It was a little bit underwhelming, if I'm honest, towards the end." However, renowned sports correspondent and boxing expert Donald McRae criticized Jake Paul for fighting a man way past his prime. He also questioned the importance of the fight, pointing out that nobody was going to give Paul credit for defeating a 58-year-old man, even if the person was Mike Tyson.
Mike is 58, man. And I don't know how many people feel like I feel, but I appreciate Mike getting himself in shape.
Oh yeah, I see that.
And being able to go back and forth with a dude, what, 27? 27 years old, 26, 27? Mike still taking good shot. And, but you know, sometimes with people that don't really know boxing, and they're just here for the, you know, the euphoria and the excitement and this Mike, and then you got the Jake Paul fan, they don't really understand that, so they're taking every word literally, and they're believing it, and they expect it to be lived out fight night, and it just ain't gonna always go like that, bro. 58 is 58, bro. So you can see Mike's brain. Mike's brain was telling him to do stuff. His body was like, we ain't doing it, bro. When you, like, when them legs go, the distance between him and Jake Paul feels like 5 miles. He's trying to close the distance, and he did it early.
To have a full understanding of why so many people are displeased with the fight, we will give a summary of what happened in the ring.
I mean, I don't know why we would go on, you know? Like, other than just feeling that high that you felt tonight, other than feeling that and getting all the attention, other than that, like, I don't know why we would go on, you know? Because even though you're preparing, you gotta factor in all the gym stuff. You know, you getting hit in your head 3-4 times a week. You know, you're 60, bro. We don't need that. You know what I'm saying? But I can't tell that man what to do, man. Mike Tyson, bro, he grown. And he got that fighting heart and that fighting spirit, man. So I'm not really, you know, I think this was enough, man. You know, we saw him with Roy. We seen him with Jake. I don't know where I'm going. And I don't need to see that. I seen enough is good, man. I respect Mike for what he did, man. Got in his best shape as he could at 58, man. I salute him for that. Let's move on, man. Let's enjoy the kids.
Tyson looked like an in-shape 58-year-old fighting an in-shape 27-year-old, considering that even if you didn't see the fight, you have a good idea of how it went. As expected, the first 2 rounds of the fight, which lasted 8 2-minute rounds, were mildly competitive. Paul seemed cautious from the start, which appeared to be more about his concern for Tyson than worry about him getting starched by his opponent's power. Paul was never in danger at any point in the fight, and while he landed a few hooks and straights on Tyson, the latter never looked too fazed. When Tyson slowed the pace dramatically, Paul followed suit and tried to do just enough to keep the fans from going into an uproar.
First of all, thank you to Netflix, an unbelievable partnership that started in November of 2023. We had a vision on what could be the biggest fight in history, and on Tuesday, with our partners at Netflix, we'll come out with the results of what tonight looked like. We had a gate of over $18.1 million, a record for the state of Texas, double what Canelo did when he fought here the last time post-pandemic when demand for tickets was much higher, and it is the highest gate in boxing history in the US outside of Las Vegas. And it happened with a young man who's 4 years in the sport and a legend, an icon in Mike Tyson, who came back and, you know, put on an amazing show. We actually exceeded Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor in terms of commercial establishments that paid to show the fight.
Ultimately, Mike Tyson landed just 18 punches across that 16-minute fight. He threw 97. Jake Paul, on the other hand, landed 78, more than 4 times as many. He threw 278. Tyson conceded he had an injury entering the bout, but refused to make it an excuse for his performance, with Paul hinting that he was reluctant to commit to his combinations through fear. I was trying to hurt him a little bit, but I was scared. He was trying to hurt me too.
Can you talk about the opening minutes when you see Mike across the ring from you? He's giving his peekaboo style. He's coming forward. What were your initial thoughts? Because it seems surreal that you got in the ring with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I was just so prepared. I've gone through the moment so many times in my head and meditation and stuff like that. So it didn't faze me. And I just felt at home just because I'm on the path of riding my destiny. And when you're really close to God and on the path of your destiny, you just feel everything so much more. And you just know what's going to happen ahead of time.
Round 3, Mike seemed to be running out of gas a little bit. You were working the jab really well. At any point, did you start to take your foot off the gas just a little bit because you noticed he was tiring out?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a bit. You know, I wanted to give the fans a show, but I didn't want to hurt someone that didn't need to be hurt.
But not everyone cared about the legitimacy of the fight or what happened in the ring. For some, like UFC CEO Dana White, They were happy to see Tyson survive. Ahead of Tyson's return to the ring at 58 years old, the UFC CEO showed genuine concern that the former heavyweight boxing champion was potentially risking his health by fighting Jake Paul in an 8-round main event that was being broadcast on Netflix. Fortunately, even though the fight wasn't exactly a barn burner, Tyson didn't absorb too much damage, and he ultimately lost a decision without suffering a single knockdown along the way.
Mike Tyson was right, and I was wrong. You know, when you guys know the whole story about Shark Week, and you know, if you don't, I begged him not to do the Roy Jones fight. You're too old. I love you. I don't want to see you take any more punishment. So I set him up on Shark Week. He got paid good money, and he's like, so he almost flipped out the last day and was ready to kill everybody on the boat because he had to jump in with all these sharks again in the middle of Florida. And he's like, this is that, you know, he cares about me and everything else. I've been fighting since I was 12, and he throws me in the ocean with a bunch of sharks. He was right about that too. But he basically said, I told him, Mike, you're basically 60 years old. And he's like, you honestly think this kid's going to do anything to me? He's not good. He's not going to knock me out. He's not going to do this.
White said during the UFC 309 post-fight press conference, I told him, Mike, you're basically 60 years old. He's like, you honestly think this F***king kid's going to do anything to me? He's not good. He's not going to F***king knock me out. He's not going to do this. However, he called out Jake Paul ahead of his fight with legendary boxer Mike Tyson, suggesting Paul only wanted to fight Tyson because he knew he would win against a nearly 60-year-old Tyson. He has fought a guy who is 60 years old, White said. That says it all. There is nothing else that needs to be said. Him and Mike Tyson are going to make a expletive load of money. Jake Paul can fight. Jake Paul just won't fight anybody. While many boxing experts and enthusiasts questioned Mike's participation in a fight they considered lacked credibility of a legitimate boxing bout, White supported him. He told the press, he made a ton of money, and I know people are mad you stayed home on a Saturday night, but you didn't pay for it. When Mike Tyson shows up, everybody makes money. I don't have to tell you guys. You guys know. Mike Tyson is the A++++ side of that thing. He was right. Jake Paul couldn't do expletive to him. He was right, and I was wrong. Jake Paul is not one to let comments against him slide, and he has responded to the backlash he received from fighting Tyson. The YouTuber called out his haters with a post on X, biggest since cable. Mic drop on you haters. Oh, and we had 50 million households watching Amanda and Katie. Grateful.
You know, I don't have to tell you guys. You guys know Mike Tyson is the A+++ side of that thing, and he was right. Jake Paul couldn't do it to him. He was right and I was wrong.
When you say
I don't know. I mean, I was watching it, but I wasn't scoring it. But it was a great fight. You know, those girls were banging, throwing tons of combos, and that's the other thing. I mean, all the people that are, you know, there's a lot of. Portnoy went out and said that it was the greatest con job of all time, and I mean, if you didn't think that that's the way the fight, I don't know what people expected. You know, Mike's almost 60 years old. He's Mike Tyson, but he's 60 years old, and he knew that Jake Paul couldn't do anything to him. So you knew what you were going to get when you saw that fight. But you can't be mad. It was free. We all got Netflix anyway, right? And you got to watch the girls fight, and the girls fight was good.
Meanwhile, his former trainer Jeff Fenech has expressed regret after urging people to bet on the legendary boxer to win the match against Paul. In an interview with Australia 9's Today, Jeff Fenech, former trainer to Tyson, admitted he was overwhelmed with calls after urging so many people to bet on the boxer in his fight against Jake Paul last Friday. Fenech, who previously worked with Tyson in the past, including his final fight in 2005 against Kevin McBride, after which Tyson retired with a record of 50 wins and 6 losses, believed that Iron Mike had the potential to secure one of the fastest wins of his career if he approached it correctly.
Good to see you, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you.
This was amazing. I still am quite confused about this fight. I still don't know who really won, but look, you thought Mike had knocked Jake out pretty early. That didn't happen. Were you surprised how it all unfolded?
Yeah, I was, and I just thought that if I was there with Mike, I'd say, Mike, don't even make a move, just let him throw a punch and bring you one of those punches that we know Mike's famous for, and I thought it would be over. But I had so many people ring me and so many people lost money because of me. I'm pretty embarrassed.
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing fight for a lot of reasons. I expected Mike to perform a little bit better, but he is 58 years old. What did you make of that age gap?
Yeah, well, you know, I spoke to Mike a few times, and just this morning I've had a missed call from him. But I spoke to him about age, and I said about being able to get hurt as you get older.
But things didn't turn out the way he expected. But he praised Tyson's determination to return to the ring at his age. According to the boxing expert, Tyson showed that at 58, you can work hard and make something happen. From a former trainer to the current one, Rafael Cordero, Tyson's trainer, recently spoke about Saturday's fight at AT&T Stadium, expressing gratitude that the boxing icon can now focus on spending quality time with his family after months of intense preparation. "We worked for 7 months for this moment. I really believed we had this victory before the fight. He never asked to give up," he told journalists. Despite the loss, Cordero emphasized Tyson's enduring legacy. Tyson is the people's champion. He has inspired many people outside the ring. Most importantly, Mike comes home to his loved ones. Even though he wasn't himself in the ring, Tyson is not sure it will be the last time we will see him doing what he loves to do best. Speaking after the loss to Paul, he said he might return. He even called out Logan Paul.
I think that's what it's more about for Mike these days. Instead of just being that hungry animal and killer, I think for me it's yeah, he lost the fight, it was disappointing, but the rest of the stuff far outweighs the fight.
Do you think he pulls up now? Do you think he stops, or should he keep going? What would your advice be to him, Tyson?
Well, my advice would be totally that's you don't have to do that again. And you know, like I said, he's talking about he was sick and so. But listen, at 58 and you're working your body like he did, it's very, very difficult to stay healthy. You know, sometimes you overdo it, you burn that engine out where you should be just leaving a little bit extra petrol in the tank. But like I said, for me, I'm so proud of how Mike's changed his life around. And look at this, over 100 million people watched it at home. Yep. I mean, they didn't just watch it for the fight, they watched it because they love Mike Tyson. Although all us fight people think, what a terrible fight that was, but most people think what a great job Mike Tyson done.
Do you think the fight was scripted? Let's hear your comments in the section below. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and smash the notification bell. Thanks for watching.